Hello and welcome to Optimal Expression, where we embrace our greatest potential to manifest our wildest dreams. Good people, Merry New Year. Merry New Year. It's 2026, and it's also Monday. You know what that means. Yes, yes. It is time to manifest. And today, we're talking about manifesting a new you for the new year. Let's manifest together. In general, when we're talking about manifesting a new you, understanding what makes a person who they are, what makes you who you are. It's a very important question to answer because when we're trying to change things, when we're trying to manifest, we need to understand you don't get what you want in life. You get who you are. So if you want to change what you are getting or what you are receiving or what you are experiencing, it's really important that you change who you are. And it doesn't necessarily mean that something's wrong with you. A lot of people may be hesitant to admit that maybe they need to change some things because it may imply that something's wrong with you. No, what is wrong is continuing to be the same way and then wondering why nothing outside of you changes. Okay? So the first thing we need to understand is the only way to change things for the better is to become better. And that's what it means to be human. Naturally, the human is always pushing to expand, always pushing to excel, to be better than we were. And if you find yourself in a stagnant position, I'm pretty sure it feels pretty bad. No judgment. We've all been there, okay? So when we're talking about what makes a person who they are, the first thing we have to point to is your habits. Maybe we have a habit of putting other people first. Maybe we have a habit of not believing in ourselves. Maybe we have a habit of talking down to ourselves because perhaps growing up, other people have talked down to us and we've just carried the torch. These are the type of things we need to learn to release, okay? So in changing our habits, we have to understand there's things we need to release and replace. We don't just release something. We release something and then we replace it with something else. Your habits. Now, most times our habits are a reflection. What we do is a reflection of how we think. Okay? So this is very important, and you'll hear me say this time and time again. I'm being purposely redundant when I say, if you want to change your life, you must change your thoughts. Okay? So perhaps we may not think that a better position is available to us because we don't believe that we're qualified. Maybe we feel like the track to become qualified is too challenging. And we have the thoughts, or we feel like we have the evidence in our mind to support that. And we tell ourselves that. So you continue to stay in a position that you are unhappy with, that you may feel underpaid with, that you may feel underappreciated with. Okay? That's just one example. So when we're talking about our thoughts, they're connected to our habits. Okay? Maybe we feel like we need to drink because it's the only thing that can stop all of the crazy thoughts going on in our head, right? I've been there before too, okay? Understanding that what you are doing is always a reflection of how you are thinking. Now, beyond thinking, the thinking is a reflection of your beliefs. You're going to think in alignment with what you believe. So now, we're going from habits to thoughts to beliefs. I'm rewinding because at the core of all of it is your beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? This journey in being a new you requires you to believe that you can be different, that different is available and possible for you. If you're not sure about that, you're kind of going to be spinning your wheels, okay? First, we need to make a decision that regardless of what evidence around us must say, we must be able to believe that better is available and possible for us. That's the first belief we need to change. We first, before we can change a habit, need to change our thoughts. And before we can change our thoughts, the very first thing we must work on changing is our beliefs. Okay, understanding that some habits are bad for us, believing that some habits are not okay anymore. It's not okay to eat the way you've been eating if you want to be healthy. It's not okay to stay in an abusive relationship and think that one day love is miraculously going to spring up from it. It's not okay to stay in a position where you are underappreciated and underpaid when you know you are capable of more. To begin to change these beliefs, we need to begin to utilize some tools that we will use to help us grow out of our current conditions. One of those tools is journaling. Okay? Journaling is going to give you your roadmap. I want you to write out what your ideal life looks like. This is very important. Who do you see yourself as? The person in your wildest dreams, the successful person that's making a lot of money, that has the love of their life, that is in optimal health. Tell me about that person. What do they do? Where do they live? How do they live? Write these things out, okay? And you want to continue to maintain a journal that talks about what you deal with from day to day and the struggles that you come against. And then we're going to begin to talk about how we can overcome those struggles, okay? So when we're talking about changing our beliefs, journaling on a regular basis, day one, write out what your ideal life looks like. Write out who you want to be, what that person is like, okay? And in as much detail as possible. And these things you want to do on a regular basis and read the ideal life and the ideal person entries on a regular basis so that you can be in alignment with that reality. We have to begin to take in what we feel like or where we feel like we want to go. We have to accept it as who we are right now. And a good way to do that is to revisit that thought every day when you read it, okay? Another thing we want to do to begin to change our beliefs is affirmations. A lot of people will tell you affirmations don't work. I'm here to tell you they do work. And the reason I know they work is because every day you're saying something to yourself. You're affirming something every day. You're affirming what your current financial status is. You're affirming what your current health status is. You're affirming what your current love life is. You're saying nobody ever wants me. Nobody will ever date me. Oh, the dating market is bad. No good men are left. No good women are left. These are the things that a lot of people are saying to themselves and wondering why they can't find love. Okay? And I know a lot of you may say, well, I'm only saying how it is. Exactly. Saying how it is will only give you more of what is. When we're changing reality, when we're changing circumstances, we speak on what is to come by affirming it now. Okay? So we need to pick up affirmations that affirm the direction we're going in. We need to change the programming because every day you're telling yourself stuff that keeps you stuck. Okay? So we need to release those negative thoughts that we tell ourselves and about life and about other people. And we need to replace them with thoughts that align with who we want to be and where we want to go. The most powerful affirmation I've ever come across is, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Say that affirmation 20 times as soon as you wake up and 20 times as you're falling asleep. Very key times because that's when your subconscious mind is most impressionable, okay? These exercises will begin to work on your beliefs. If you tell yourself something long enough, you will begin to believe it. That's how a lot of us got in these fixes anyway. Somebody introduced a terrible idea for us and we accepted it and then begin to tell that story to ourselves. A better life is available to you right now. You're not crazy for wanting something else. And what you're going to learn when you begin to strive for better, there's going to be something in you that begins to speak up. That's your intuition. Listen to it, because the roadmap to your ideal self is already within you. The problem is we value the logical left side of the brain too much. And we tell ourselves it doesn't make sense. The universe doesn't respond to what's logical. It responds to frequency. It responds to how you feel, and it responds to what you believe. Give yourself a new belief. Begin to program yourself. We're going to have to do it the manual way first. After a while, it becomes automatic. But when we're trying to change, we have to do it the manual way, and we have to input thoughts. We have to input new beliefs, and we have to constantly stay on ourselves. And when we catch ourselves thinking things that are not in alignment with where we want to go, that's where we need to stop and replace that thought. A tidbit that I want to throw in there before I leave, I want to talk about resistance. When you begin to do these things, when you begin to affirm to yourself and journal and begin to change your habits, the old you is going to fight for its life. We need to understand that all things are energy. And that old version of yourself does not want to die. But in order for the new you to be born, the old you must die. Okay? And so it's going to tell you, oh, this ain't doing no good. You're just wasting your time. This is silly. This is stupid. You don't need to do that. When you begin to try to exercise, to change your health in a more positive way, you're going to be told by the old you, this is too hard. Don't put yourself through that. Life is too short. Life is too short to run in place. Recognize the resistance that's going to come from the old you. Be prepared, because when the old you begins to tell you you're wasting your time and this doesn't work, understand that the alternative then is to go back to being the old you, which will give you the old circumstances. Okay? So it's important that we're watchful about this. Affirmations, meditation. Okay? Two very key things. And now we're adding journaling. We are actively thinking and putting our attention on where we want to go. Think of it like this. When you're traveling, when you're on vacation and you're going to Jamaica or wherever you're going, you're not thinking about Oklahoma. You're not focused on that, because that's not where we're going. Understand, where we're going in life, it's very important that our focus and attention stays there. Journaling, meditation, and affirmation are three tools that will help keep you on course. Okay? I hope this message resonated with you. Until next time, I'll see you right here on Optimal Expression. Peace and love.